Hello, it's Sandy with Needs a Ribbon, and we are here to explore today. We are going to put together the Exploring Nature Scrapbooking Workshop, one of the lovely scrapbooking kits from Stampin' Up, and we're going to go ahead and just get started. And it already says on the front, it comes with instructions. It comes with everything you need to complete three page how's that, 3-page spreads, so 6 pages total, and probably extra to do other things with, because that's just usually how it is. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started, and it already says on here our materials needed are the Exploring Nature Scrapbooking Workshop Kit, which is this whole kit, and it comes with everything we need but some Stampin' Dimensionals, which I have right here, some Stampin' Seal, or I would say adhesive of your choice. Some people like to use tear and tape on their words are hard on their scrapbooking pages, or our Tombow multi-purpose adhesive, the green glue, or something else that you prefer. But that you recommend the Stampin' Seal, so I will use Stampin' Seal. We will need the paper trimmer, and then one last item is an optional Stampin' Spritz. These little Stampin' Spritzers comes two for about $6 or whatever, I don't know, and you can wash them out and reuse them and all that good stuff. They're great. So, and it also says grab some photos. You need 13 total, and it tells you what sizes. I have in my hot little hands, so I will be making more pages other times. I have about 85, I think it is, printed pictures from a recent trip. 85, yes, and that's not even all of them that I want to, but you can already see why I chose this particular subject for this kit. It was a very naturey South Dakota trip, and the colors just, when I was reviewing pictures, I'm like, oh, that is just a match made in scrapbooking heaven. So that's what we're going to use. And yeah, it says what you need for the thing, but obviously I will need a lot more because, yeah, this is just the beginning. And I don't even know if I'll use all my pictures in my scrapbook. Anyway, let's go look at the what is in the instructions. So the first few pages are cutting instructions, and I will do that. And then it's how to put the pages together. It looks like left page, right page, left page, right page. So the 2-page spreads. Okay, that is it. And I think this is fantastic. I think they're about $35, which I consider a real value when you consider it includes everything, and except for some cutting, everything else is ready to go. Let's take a look at what's in the kit. And I know this paper is identical to the Nature Walk paper. Oh my gosh, I so love this paper. I really genuinely do. I've gone through one whole pack of it already and part of another and so on. Ooh, that's not in there. Ooh, that's a white. So that's different. Ooh. Color Me Crumb Cake, and maybe some basic beige in there. And then we've got some printed, nope, that's our two-tone paper. So some two-tone paper, which probably means we have some tearing going on. Yep, so Secret Sea, two-tone, yep, definitely. Pool Party two-tone, I'm pretty sure it's Pool Party. Secret Sea, Pecan Pie, nope, that's not Secret Sea, that's Pretty Peacock. And what was that? Oh, that's just... And then some white, lots of white, and then the good stuff. This is what makes it so easy, you guys. Let me just pull this out so I can orient this better for you. We have all these cutouts. They're not sticky, they're cutouts. And on the back, check this out. It tells you exactly what project they are for. And also, I can tell you from looking at some of these items, we have the stamp set and die which kind of uses the same shapes. We also have the Nature Walk paper plus, which means it comes with the sheet of actually stickies of a really stuffed sheet. And then we have this, and then our little photo boxes, upside down, and then our photo. This is it. Oh my gosh, they used it. So we have all our little photo placeholders, which I will do until I decide what pictures I'm going to use, because that's probably going to take longer than it will be to put this all together. And then it comes the Nature Walk Plus. Oh, that's just the backing sheet. The Nature Walk Plus comes with this exact sheet. I believe it sure looks like it's the exact sheet. So you want to extend your kit and keep going. Get yourself some two-tone paper that goes with this. There's one in the suite. I will list all those items at the back of this video. You will get that. You will get the Nature Walk paper, and I should have enough already with what I have left. I've used quite a bit of this on my other sheet that came with the paper, the Nature Walk Plus DSP, which is the 12 sheets of paper plus this whole sticker sheet. It's only $5 more for the sticker sheet, and just look at the value that provides. They're already adhesive, they're already stamped, quick, very rapid crafting. Anyway, worth it. So I will, why don't we cut a little bit together? I was going to do some things online or in front of you and others not in front of you. Just because it's going to get long and boring to show all the cutting, but why don't we take a look at it together for just, a fast look at how they do this. So they show you in the cutting diagram, they show you which paper we're using for this. So let's go look at our paper. It is this one, it looks like. Yep, it is indeed this one. And I will show you how, or tell you how. Let's see if I can bring it a little. So we've got the dark blue, which is Secret Sea, with the white grid. That's this, and that's what they're going to call the front. And then the back is this, when you look at it, it's like, it was painted. I guarantee this was actually painted by an artist at Stampin' Up. And they photograph it. They've done that a lot, and sometimes those are the most favorited papers, is the not digitally created ones, but the ones that are actually done by our artisans. It's fantastic. So this is our back, and it shows the cut orientation. So it looks like we cut two the same way. 3A and 3G must go refer to our diagrams. Let's just take a look. 3A, 3G. Go 1A, so 1H, so 2, 3 must be our page 3, or group 3. Yep, indeed, here we go. So there's one sheet. It's also good to verify that you are indeed understanding the cut instructions right in 3G. So, and it says all right here, 3G and all of that. That's fantastic. Okay, so let's go back to our cutting instructions. Let's actually walk through one or two of these together. Together. 3 and 3G. So that goes, so they want us to, they're placing it, I'm taking this literally. It looks like they've got the paper oriented. So that's the top, the old olive, I believe it is the top. Flip it over. They want us to work from this side. So if that's the top and this side, it looks like we cut our paper too. So I'm going to have to extend my trimmer. Extending my trimmer. And I'm probably going to end up going off camera. So 10 3/4 by 10 3/4. So we make one cut at 10 3/4. I gotta tell you, the first time I started crafting with this paper, it was, or the other way to look at that, and that's a teaching moment, is it's okay 10 3/4 or to position it this way and at 1 1/4. So you're really cutting off 1 1/4. So that's another way. We'll set this aside because I have a feeling we'll be using that. And then rotate our paper and we're going to cut off another 1. We'll go this way. We'll go 1 1/4. And or 10 3/4. I've been lately, rather than having, because I sometimes work from a smaller space, rather than having my arm extended, I just figure out what I need to lop off. As long as it's within the 6 inches, you know, because our base cutting is 6 inches, I don't necessarily need to extend my arm. So we made our first cut. So and it's so pretty. It's so pretty. So we need another sheet of that. We're calling that the top, based on their little gram. That's the top. I'll flip it over. So we're cutting off 1 1/4 again. And then, or a 10 3/4. Again, it just kind of depends on how your mind works too. Some people would rather know the actual measurement and not my kind of alternate measurement, my 10 3/4. So there, we've done our first page of cutting instructions. Give yourself a round of applause. So let's keep going for a few minutes here. Page 2, we need both sheets of this. And I can tell you that that's that. I'm taking a look at it and they are saying cut orientation. So I'm going literally by their picture because I want my kit to turn out like their example. And they've got these vertical lines going this way on the paper. So I'm going to call that the top, and it looks like the shaded side on that side. That's the left. And so that looks correct. So we call this the front, and we don't cut them both the same. I could have done the other one the same. So we're going to cut our first, oh, we only cut once on this piece. Cut 8 by 12 and 4 by 12. So they're saying it should be oriented like this. So the dark corner is in your lower left. And then we're going to measure at 8. And see, this is when you'd need the arm, or I could flip my paper around. The other way to look at it is based on their thing is go to 4. Because then that gives me the dark thing in the lower left corner. So, but we'll do this the proper way. Okay, 8 by 12 and 4 by 12. And it has that on the back side. The kind of stripey, it's Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock. So we'll set those aside. Second page, we need this again. Again, same orientation. We go with the long Pretty Peacock stripes this way and the dark corner in the lower left. And we are going to cut 4 by 12 on that side. Again, I'm trying to teach you also how to read their grams, their little pictograms. 4 by 12, and it looks like we use that 4 by 12 slice as is. And then we cut this section to 8 wide by 10 long, and then the rest, and I will show you something in a minute. Fuck. Sorry. Oops. By 10 long. Oops. Beep. Well, we're good. We're good. We're good. You see what I did there? Yep. That's what happens when you try and do this and teach too. Okay, so our next one is like that. I will tape it depending on which side goes down. Nothing lost. I also, if I'm really bothered by it, I do have the spare paper. That's not from the scrapbooking kit. Okay, so I want to show you something about the instructions. And again, nothing is ever lost. That, because it's left blank, that piece, that's yours to do what you want with. Add it to future scrapbook pages. Let's finish this. So they're saying Okay. Okay, so it's this paper that has the script on it, and it goes this way. And what they're saying is, okay, so make sure your script is facing up so you can read it, which you really kind of can. Hearts of blah, blah, blah. Young, stir like a battle cry. You know, you can kind of read it. I really would like to know what this is from because I assume they grabbed it from something. So we're going to flip it over so our script is face up. And on this piece, we are going to cut 2 by 12 and 10 by 12. So with the grids facing up and the dark will be in your lower right corner, we're going to cut a 2 by 12. But again, if you don't want to extend your arm, if you don't have space to do that, flip your paper 180 degrees and cut off the, you know, like this. No, I'm not. I've already made one boo-boo. Nope, we're good. That is 2 by 12. Haha. You think you fooled me? So yeah. So that's the one sheet. And then, ooh, we got a lot not used on this next sheet. So, oh, see, this is why it's good to pay attention to the orientation, because now they're saying our script goes up and down with the upright way rotated 90 degrees to the right like this. And then, wow, that is some. And we're kind of at 5 by 11. So we cut the 5 first. I always cut the longest first. 5. And then we cut off 1 inch from the bottom. I'm not even going to measure 11. I just know that that's. So that is grid up or script up. And then the next section that's left, we cut 1 1/4 by 5. So another 5 cut. So we got this 2 inch hunk, 2 by 12 hunk left, and then 1 1/4. And I'm just going to go with their orientation guidelines and assume it's rotated so you can see it like this. It's 2J. How about we double check? 2J. So that would be layout 2. Yep, indeed, 2J. The script, we're just using a little bit of it, if you can see that. And it's just 1 1/4 or something like that by 5 hunk. And you want your script readable, and you're just going to cut a narrow band. Just double checking after my boo-boo. 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 Well, why don't we keep going? So the next one, we need the 2-tone cardstock that looks like it's Pool Party or something. I haven't looked at the. It's the only one like this, so it can't be too hard. It's 2-tone. This is the dark. This is the light. It looks like it's Pool Party. I'm pretty sure it's Pool Party. So they're calling, since they have this pictured, it isn't going to matter how we're cutting it. But I'm going to guess since they usually have what they consider the top on the left. So we want the dark facing up, and we're going to cut 2 strips that are 2 3/4 by 12. Let's triple check there. 2 3/4 by 12. And then again. And then we have the rest of that. Again, you could turn the rest of that into more pages that match, or cards or other projects. 2 3/4 by 12. We're good here. We're done with that one. This next one, we need our 2-tone pecone. pecan pie, there is no orientation on these two tones. We are going to cut our first thing at 4 1/4. Again, when they have the scissors, that means that's your first cut. That's another tip. 4 1/2. And I'm going to go with, yep, I'm just going to keep mine oriented, that assuming that's the top. I mean that because that's what they were doing, is saying the left side is, yep, because then down here, and that's why I think that we have the light facing up. So that's the side you should have facing up, is always on the left picture. It's just a matter of learning how they do this stuff. So 4 1/2 by 12. And then we need, and then, so 4 1/2 by 12, and then we can cut that down to 2. Ooh, I don't like those kind of measurements. And then 6 1/2, so it's all 4 1/2 by 3 1/2. I'm going to cut the next section at 3 1/2 because I don't like the 6's. And does that measure out to 6 1/2? It certainly does. Okay, so half of that done. Then we need another strip that is 3 1/2 or 3 1/4. So it's 3 1/4 wide. The left measurement is always your width. Okay, that's another tip. So 3 1/4 wide. Sorry, I made that boo-boo and now I'm nervous. By 4 1/4. Ah, this must be a picture map. 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. Again. And then this should come out to 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. Nope, we have a little bit to chop off. And I will show you. It's just a little bit we chop off. So Sandy did it right. And then we have the last piece should be 4 1/4. Yep, we're good. And then we cut a 6 1/4. And then that's for use. Okay. Should we keep going? Let's keep going. So we need our two-tone secret C. Let's make sure. Yep. Two-tone secret C. Ooh, we've got a lot of wacky cutting here. So they're saying cut first 1/4. It's really hard to 1/4 by 12. The scissors again is always where you cut first. And since this is no directional paper, we're going to do it on this side, because that way I can see it better. 1/4. And we want, well, it doesn't matter now, but now I need to pay attention, because they are saying on here, it was minor boo-boo, they want the light on the facing up. So that's okay. We're good. No harm done. And we need to cut another 1 1/4 by 11. Let's make sure we're, yep. So another 1/4. And I'll pull this aside to keep the orientation by 11. So we need to chop 1 inch off of this doodad. And then another skinny strip that is 1/8 by 11. Good Lord. And that is 1/8. And then we chop off 1 inch. And that's again that little piece, which I will probably never use. And that was a really crappy cutting job, so that's just as well. With something that skinny, you want to probably cut top down. Okay, and then we have, keep going, 5 1/2 by 11 and 5 1/2 by 11. Since these are both by 11, I'm going to take and rotate my paper and cut off 1 inch. No. How about we keep working this way? How about we follow the instructions? Yep. After we've had a boo-boo. 5.5 by 11. So then we cut off 1 inch because it's 12, right? And that's free use. And we need another piece that is 5.5 by 11. So we got an odd shaped strip, again, used for something else. Okay, we are almost done cutting. Woo! And then we need our pretty peacock two-tone. I saw it over here, and we want the light side facing us. So that's the light, that is the dark. That is the light. The dark is actually the pure tone in this case. I think that's usually true, but don't quote me on that. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. Maybe. Okay, so our first cut on the pretty peacock two-tone with our light side facing up is at 4.5 by 12. Okay, no other trimming to that one. And then another 4.5. Did I do that 4.5? I did. Whoa, tripping out here. 4.5 by 12, and then we got this to use on other projects. Woohoo! So we've got two 4.5 by 12 two-tone. Then we have willow white. Okay. I was wondering if we were doing something with these or white willow. Yep. This is our white willow, which is slightly different than our normal cardstock. Isn't it? I'm just verifying. We have 2 sheets of white willow. I want to, before I start cutting, we need 2 sheets of white willow. I want to go look at our instructions real fast to see if we are needing full sheets of white willow. It looks like for section 2, pages 3 and 4. So the 2-page spread in the middle. Yep. Okay. Just want to make sure because there's 4 sheets of white willow, and this is how I'm verifying, and I want to educate you as I'm doing this. So white willow it's not two-tone. It is just white, and it's kind of like our basic white cardstock. I think it is slightly different. It might be a slightly different weight. Anyway, so our first cut is at, but we don't have orientation. Like they don't even have the two. It's just the same. That's how I read that chart. Whereas we had front and back, it's the same. So 4 1/4 is our first cut. Our width, 4 1/4. Just triple checking myself there, by 7 1/4 long. So that's this one, and then 1D, that's piece 2F, and then piece 1D. And again, you could take a pencil and write on the back of these so you know. There's not that many pages in this, so yeah. And then we need to take what's left of that and cut it 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. Okay. So I'm going to bring it down here and just go like that. And then I'm going to flip it. And then I have this right angle, which actually you could use that as a corner picture frame. Just like that. Okay, So taking our piece, we now have however many, 7 3/4 left. Yep. Our next cut will be 3 1/4 down the long cut. 1 2 3 1/4. Cut it all the way, and then we cut at 3 1/4, so these are 2 3x3 mats. So 3 1/4. Does that make sense? 3 1/4, and then actually we need 3 of them, and then what's left is left to play with or stamp on. Okay, that's the middle column on our white willow cardstock, and then our final column we cut it to 3 1/4. So these must be all our and then this is extra, so about 1 1/4 inches, and we go 3 1/4 by 3. Okay, they're just more 3x3 mats. Just triple checking and trying to walk you through what's going on in my head. So that is it for White Willow sheet 1 and then sheet 2, and then we're done with cutting. Then we can start assembling. So first cut on the last sheet that we're cutting, it is 4 1/4 wide. Let's go ahead and make that cut all the way down. By 6 1/4. So we've got a picture mat here for a 4x6 photo, and then we have one that is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, so another 3x3. I will just go ahead and do it that way because I don't want to mess up. And then our next section, and then we get a lot left, is 2 3/4 out of this width. By 2 3/4. Okay. And then the rest of this is yours to do what you want with. And that is it for our cutting instructions. That is all cut. And then next up, so we can probably put our trimmer away, which is great.